Yes, I'm back. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. We're gonna give your guys' as classmates just a or 30 seconds or so to get in. Sorry I wasn't here on Thursday. I had some things to attend to down south that can't really plan for. So we'll get going here in a second. Did anybody have any issues with kind of just playing around with that Immerse to Learn website? I think it's a fairly simple website, and we're going to use it off and on throughout the semester. You guys are kind of like my guinea pigs. You're my trial run with using that website, and at the end, I'll get your general consensus on it and whether or not it's worth me spending the money on it every year. Uh, you guys excited to come back next week? I see some head shakes. I see some some no's, some yeses. It's going to be interesting, but we'll get through it. All right, I'm going to switch over to present mode real quick. I'll kind of show you what we got going on. All right. So in our Google Classroom, come on. There we go. Any second now, you guys are going to have assignment come up that says Section 1, Unit 1, Introduction to Machining. This is going to be kind of how all of our units are going to go while we are in this class. You'll see that in this assignment, there's a couple of things attached here. We have our PowerPoint presentation that we are going to go over together today. There's this PDF right here that when you click on it, it's the actual section from the book itself that's pertaining to the assignment. So if there's a question on the homework assignment that you may not recall from the PowerPoint, it's going to be here in the reading. So I give you both the PowerPoint presentation and the reading in one spot. Lastly, you'll see a Google form, Section 1, Unit 1, Intro to Machining, where you guys are basically going to answer questions that you will find in the PowerPoint presentation. A lot of these questions are simple, like define the term machining, what is a machine tool, things like that. Not overly difficult. But we still need to get them done. You'll see that we have a due date of September 17th for this Google Form assignment. So that is Thursday. So make sure you have Section 1, Unit 1 done before Thursday. Are there any questions before we start doing the PowerPoint presentation? If not, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. Section 1, Unit 1, Introduction to Machining. This chapter discusses definitions of machining and machine tools, the history of machining and its progress, machining in daily life, and major machine tools like equipment, tools, processes, and technology. Machining defined. So machining is the using of machine tools to cut materials to desired sizes and shapes. But what are machine tools? Machine tools are machine-operated tools used to perform the cutting. Humans have used machine tools for centuries. Earliest machine tools were hand-powered. Later tools were powered by animals or water. This eventually progressed into steam power, and then most recent machine tools are powered by electricity. So that you can see that as the human species advanced in day-to-day technology, so did the machining operations. They kind of correlated right along with it. So we have some examples of the earliest hand-powered machine tools. So right here we have the bow drill, which was designed to basically make fire by the friction right here. And then we have the pump drill, oh, right here. One of the earlier uh, big pieces of machinery, I guess you could say, would be the great wheel lathe. So basically, you have a guy here that's cranking this giant wheel with the ropes going over to another pulley behind this guy right here. And then this guy with his chisel is turning this piece of wood right here uh, into a round object, maybe a table leg, something decorative, most likely. If you've ever taken woods before, you've seen the wood lathes and how they kind of operate. I just realized I had my volume on mute, so if you had a question at some point, I probably didn't hear it. So just giving you that heads up. John Wilkinson's boring machine. It was first used to machine cannon bores, then cylinders for steam engines. So here we have the progression. We have our water wheel in some sort of water as it's going. Everything's cranking over. And then finally we have our arbor essentially going into the cannon to bore it out to an exact size. Because with things like cannons and stuff that are designed to hold pressure, the better bore you have, the tighter seal, the more accurate you are, the better results you're going to have as far as firing goes. So here we have an early milling machine from around 1860. You'll notice, you guys, when you come in that honestly, this does not look a whole lot different than the machines we currently have in the classroom. Once they kind of found like that one design that really worked, it went unchanged for a long time. Today's state-of-the-art CNC machine tools can be programmed to run unattended and machine extremely complex shapes. Here we have, looks like an impeller being machined on maybe a 5-axis or 7-axis machine. But this impeller at one point was one solid piece of aluminum, and this CNC has slowly carved it down to the exact shape that it needs to be. The role of machining in society. We use manufactured items every day. The machining industry produces end products and components, meaning end products are final products. As they're machined, what they're machined as, that's their final form. Machining produces other tools to produce end products as well. And then machining produces shapes and sizes with great precision. That phrase right there, great precision, is going to be something that you guys are going to be dealing with all semester. So some of the areas that use it: aerospace, automotive, and motorsports. Automotive and aerospace industries rely heavily on machining and machine tools. If it weren't for machine tools, we would not have cars, planes, trains, automobiles, all that fun stuff. Medical fields. Other high-tech fields that are not easily seen as related to machining still depend on machining and machine tools for their existence. Machine tools produce many medical devices that are used in today's high-tech surgical procedures. Plastics. In today's society, plastic plays a role in nearly every aspect of life. Electronic items such as CD and DVD players, televisions, portable digital music players, mobile phones, and computers all contain plastic parts. All these plastic parts are put through some sort of machining process. So here we have an example, a machine shock absorber. This is something you would find on a car or a motorcycle or something like that. But all these parts were machined so that they could go together in an exact way. Here we go. Machining produces medical products such as this hip implant and surgical tool. So you can see this hip implant, this is all machined out of one piece of material to fit an exact specification. Other durable goods, products in daily use, such as hand tools, metal cans, metal pans, and drinking glasses, as well as countless metal components used throughout the world, also need the machining industry to exist. Some consumable goods, the plastic packaging that holds many food items is made in molds, and molds also actually form the shape of some foods, such as ravioli and snack foods. Other consumables, such as clothing and paper, rely on machining indirectly, just like durable goods do. So when they're talking about like the plastic packaging and stuff, the plastic isn't being machined. What was machined was the molds used to make the plastic packaging. So you can see that while machining was not used directly on the product, machining was needed to create that product. So this progressive die has 8 stages. Each stage shapes the part further from a strip of material. At the final stage, the die cuts the finished part off the strip. So you can see, you can just kind of see the progression as things go. This started off as a flat piece of material and ended up in this 3D shape down here. They're just kind of showing its progression down the line. Machining produced this mold that forms plastic food packaging. So here's the mold right here. You can see they can do 3 of them. And then here's the final product. You can kind of see here's our long slot. There's a long slot there, 2 little individual ones right there. So while machining did not produce this part directly, because of machining of the molds, this part was able to be produced. Major machine tools. There are some basic types of machine tools or machining operations. Each is designed and suited for specific applications. Sawing machines, often just called saws, use multi-toothed blades to perform cutting. Most of you are familiar with those. The drill press performs hole-making operations by feeding various types of rotating cutting tools into the work. The lathe is used to produce cylindrical parts and operates on the principle of moving a cutting tool across the surface of a rotating piece of material. So you can see there's a little bit of difference here. The drill press rotates the cutting piece and the material being worked on is stationary, whereas in the lathe, the cutting utensil is stationary and the material is moving. Milling machines use rotating cutters moved across a part to remove material. These machine tools can either use either a vertical spindle or a horizontal spindle and are available in conventional or CNC versions. We have all of these. We have vertical, we have horizontal, we have conventional, and we have CNC versions here in the shop. Abrasive machining refers to using grinding wheels in either a non-precision or precision manner. Non-critical operations are usually performed by hand on pedestal type grinders. We've got a couple of those here you guys are going to get very familiar with when it comes time to sharpen your tools. So here we go. We got a circular blade type sawing machine. This is a really fancy one. I've got a saw in here you guys are going to use a lot. Here we've got a CNC controlled sawing machine. These are big, these are fancy, but they make super precise cuts. And as you can see, they are rather large. Drill press. The drill press is often used for hole making operations. That's about all we use the drill press for in here. Cylindrical parts are normally machined on either a conventional lathe or a CNC lathe. So here are cylindrical parts. You can see we can make all shapes and sizes with them, but for the most part, the main theme is that they are round. Here's a manual one. or a conventional lathe. This is what you guys are going to be working with. And then this is a CNC lathe. I don't have one of these yet. I should have one hopefully next year though. So some other types of machining. We have electrical discharge machining, or EDM. This uses an electrical current to machine any material that will conduct electricity. Laser machining uses a highly concentrated beam of light with temperatures up to 75,000 degrees Fahrenheit to cut, groove, or engrave metals. Lasers are classified as CNC machine tools. We also have water jet machining, where abrasive grit is introduced into a very high pressure, focused jet of water to perform cutting. Such jets can cut through 6 inches of steel. So yeah, this is really cool. The water jet machining, I've seen this before many times. It's basically high pressure water with a little bit of grit or like sand in there that will just cut literally through anything. So we have right here a laser machine tool in operation. Kind of similar to a plasma. This is a lot cleaner and more accurate process though. Water jet machine uses high pressure water stream containing an abrasive to cut materials. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I want to say somewhere in the 120,000 psi range. I think. I don't recall off the top of my head. It's probably more than that.